Hello everyone, this is Buddy Quapinks and welcome back to Let's Play Seduce Me. In the last episode we were on Diana's route and things are pretty interesting in her pathway so far. We made a deal with her. Okay, so
They
the
are the
rules of
heart
the
and soul of
worlds.
the human world, created and approved by all 5 worlds on the human date, December 25th.
Okay. 5 worlds?
In human terms, there is the human world, heaven, purgatory, hell, and the abyss.
What are the rules in this agreement?
These rules dictate the behavior of otherworldly creatures in the human world. Without them, there would be constant war between angels and devils, while the vampires would try and enslave humanity. Demons are merely the watchers, but often the devils or vampires will try and coax them into joining them. Yes, angels are from heaven, watching over the human world with a careful eye. Vampires are from the human world, but pass on to purgatory before rebirth.
Oh, sorry guys, I clicked without saying it. I stared at my lap. This was all amazing, yet this wasn't satisfying my curiosity. Did I want to know more? Did I want to know just about demons? This was all a huge deal and I felt both over and underwhelmed. I am distracted. Sorry. So these rules have rules over humans? Humans can't know about magic at all?
Correct. Humans, to the angels, need to remain pure and innocent. So they dictated that humans cannot know of the other worlds or of other beings. The rest of us agreed. Only a select few are allowed to know the truth about us.
That's weird. But that's hardly fair, isn't it?
Well, take a look at yourself. You're barely proficient with magic. Your kind is too focused on who will fight the next war or who will screw the next person.
Okay.
I'm sorry to admit this, but humans are the weakest race in the planes of existence. The only ones who truly protect you are angels.
Well, that sucks. I felt angry that she made humans sound inferior. Yeah, we had our faults, but it wasn't like any other races were better, right? There was no way humans were the inferior race. Well, we're not inferior.
Oh, you're not now? Really?
Yes, really. Diana stared at me, looking me up and down before smirking a bit.
Let's go on a little trip, shall we?
Uh-oh. I raised my eyebrow. What was she on about? First she wanted me to stay here, now she wanted to go out? What was with this girl? Before I could protest, the world began to spin around me, forcing me to jump up and grab onto Diana. She held me as the room spun practically out of control. My fear escalated and I buried my face in her shoulder, wanting it to stop. If she was trying to prove a scary point, it was working. I felt the world slow down around me and soon come to a halt. I didn't want to look, but gently Diana pushed me away from her body for me to look around. I gasped when I realized that I was in a business office. What? What is going on? Where are we?
Just a simple business office. Nothing more.
Looks familiar. I looked around and felt an air of familiar to the room. I couldn't figure out why, but my brain kept me aware that I knew this place somehow. Yeah, we saw this before. I didn't get to think on it long. Suddenly a group of businessmen entered the room, stopping at the sight of Diana and me. What
Who are
the?
you two?
Oh, sorry. I froze. What was going to happen? We were going to be thrown out, get in trouble, and I would never be allowed out again. This was a mild nightmare. Diana's giggle stopped my thoughts. I looked up to see her smirking at the group of men, a hand by her lips.
Why, do you not know who we are? For shame, for shame.
Diana guided me to a chair and sat me down before sitting on the table. I practically turned red as she hiked her dress to where her entire leg slipped out from the slit. She crossed her legs and tossed her hair gently. Why are we here?
We are your employers. This lovely lady is the CEO of the company, and I am her personal secretary. You men, however, are late.
No secretary dresses like that. Oh, wow. I stared at Diana as she stared down the group of men like a tigress would her prey. The group collectively began to shuffle in nervousness, surprising me. Were they really believing her lie? How? Magic. Diana smiled and lifted her leg slightly, making the men lean in for a possible panty shot. I couldn't help but feel both stunned and slightly jealous. I'll admit she looks pretty hot
One
right
of you
now.
needs to come over here and kiss my foot as an apology.
Oh my god. Wow. What? I looked at Diana's foot, seeing it gently bob in slight impatience. Was she seriously going to make one of them kiss her foot? They obviously couldn't be that enthralled with her enough to stoop so low. Hmm? I let my thoughts become destroyed as I watched a man step out from the group nervously and get on his knees in front of Diana. As he gently cradled her foot in his hands, I tensed and held my breath. No way. The man gently kissed over Diana's foot, making almost a sultry sigh escape her lips and send a shiver down my spine. Diana smirked and leaned back on her hands, looking down at the man before her. Wow.
My ankle next.
Oh my god, no, stop it. Like an obedient servant, the man traveled his kiss to her ankle as Diana let her head fall back with another sigh. Diana, what are you doing?
Proving to you how weak the human mind is.
Okay, I think you should stop. Diana raised a hand above her and snapped her fingers, causing the group of ogling men to straighten up. Like an army at attention, I felt myself tense and catch my breath in response, but I couldn't feel any power over
Water,
me.
a massage, another kiss.
Oh no. With each command, a man would separate from the group and fulfill it obediently. I watched as each man became practically a slave to her whim. Diana closed her eyes and let out a pleasured hum, making my spine tingle again. For some reason, this irritated me beyond belief. Watching her be pampered by enthralled men made something crawl in my chest, something dark. Jealousy. I wanted it to stop. Of course I'm going to tell her that's enough, because that's just... Although I'm curious how far she would take it. Diana and the men around her suddenly looked at me. Diana was a little surprised, but then slightly smirked.
Oh my, is someone a little jealous?
I think more than a little. It's not like that, just stop it. You've proved your point. Diana chuckled, making me wince. Would she stop? She wasn't obedient like the boys, so who knew with her? She's too wild for you. Diana then snapped her fingers, surprising me and forcing the men around her to huddle together where they were previously. Wow.
I have proven my point, haven't I? Oh well, I guess I got a little carried away.
Diana ran a finger over her lower lip and giggled at my face, though. Tease. What?
You're adorable when you're jealous.
I'm not. My face turned red instantly. I covered my cheeks, glaring at Diana. She giggled again before snapping her fingers and making the room around us fade away into darkness. Those poor, poor men. A mere breath later, we were back in my bedroom with both of us on my bed. Diana stretched her arms up and smiled at me.
So, now do you understand the vulnerability of humanity?
I gritted my teeth. Humans weren't as weak as she claimed. I couldn't believe it. Just because we were weak didn't mean that we couldn't know about those who were supposedly more powerful than us. I glared at her. That justifies ignorance? How does that justify ignorance?
Ignorance is the only safety humans get to have. If humans were to know about us, do you know what kind of chaos would occur?
For once, I felt scared. Diana's eyes were cold as ice as she stared into my soul, practically giving me the frightening feeling of the future I questioned.
There are already wars in the human world being fought amongst yourselves. Equality, dominance, power. The human world is practically the image of self-chaos. Innocent blood is spilled every day in your world. Doesn't matter the color or creed you carry.
Okay, you have a
You
point.
think blood is spilt now? There will be much more if humans knew about otherworldly creatures. Our existences can destroy beliefs and human logic.
I felt the world around me go dark as I stared at Diana. Sounds of screaming and battle raged around me, but I kept my eyes to the one person I could see. Was this an illusion? Was this a trick? Huh. It didn't feel like it.
Religions would crumble and civil wars would clash. Paranoia would be a constant in every human mind. And soon armies will rise up, trying to defend humanity without true knowledge of who we are and what we can do. Vampires would be forced to retaliate and build armies of their own, and trust me, they're not as friendly as the vampires in your human fictional drabble.
I'll bet.
Devils would have a heyday and wreak havoc, finally finding a collective weakness in the human world to exploit. Angels would have to come down and fight their devil rivals, and the human world would become their battlefield.
I could see the world Diana described flash before my eyes. I could see humans screaming and fighting each other, trying to figure out who is what and being frightful with every blink. The apocalypse is scary. I imagined devils like Malix ravaging cities and killing people while soldiers tried to fight back, failing and dying at every turn. The image was scary and I didn't want to imagine it. I shook my head, holding it in both hands before looking to Diana. My room had returned and Diana stared back at me. To my surprise, she had a concerned face. She's the one freaking me out.
The rules are to make sure that we all stay at peace. To have us all fighting at once would result in a massive cataclysm that would engulf everything and everyone, no matter what you were.
Diana finally broke away from the gaze she held on me and stared at the far wall. I could see a look of fear rush through her eyes as she looked away from me. I almost felt sorry, but my confusion covered my concern. This is
Demons
deep.
already have enough on our collective plates. We don't need to become the backlash victims of broken ignorance.
Diana. Something in Diana's eyes made my heart almost hurt. Even though she wasn't looking at me, I could almost see all of the emotions that ran in her mind just by observing her eyes. I felt bad, terrible even, for questioning her as I did. I was only human after all. However, I felt the need to comfort her. Something was going on and Diana was holding it back. Whether or not I learnt more by comforting her almost didn't matter. Of course I'll take her hand. Come on, girl. I felt myself gently scoot closer to Diana before laying a hand on hers. Diana stared at me for a brief moment before shaking her head frantically and shutting her eyes tightly. A soft sigh escaped her lips before she looked again at me.
I'm fine. I was merely trying to prove my points.
Sorry, I clicked. The day then became filled with Diana teaching me about magic. Even when the day ended, I needed to learn more. I began to crave it. I begged Diana to stay, despite knowing our deal. Diana, despite promising to only stay a day, agreed to stay longer to tell me more. Soon, days passed by filled with lessons and examples of magic. Knowing that I would be missed at school, Diana quickly took care of making sure I wasn't missed. Oh, how convenient. Using a simple spell, as she called it, she created an illusion of me to go in my place. It was real to humans and acted just like me, but was like a ghost to demons. I kind of wished I would remember that spell. That sounds awesome. She told me of vampires, creatures that looked just like humans who had an inner hierarchy. There were 4 types of vampires, but all of them were under oath by the rule of worlds not to hunt humans. It was strange and it felt like a fictional novel, but Diana promised that vampires were not like the books. They had adapted to living with humans, creating a formula that allowed them to walk around during the day. They even had a blood bank as currency and made synthetic blood to quench their thirsts. This sounds... okay, whatever. They had real blood to drink, but they got it either through hospital blood drives or black market means. It was surreal. Devils were as chaotic as Malix was, but they were still all under the command of the very powerful fallen angel and devil king, Satan. He, however, still had the heart of an angel. He was simply sitting in hell and waiting for an opening into the human world. I hoped it would never come. Wow. Interesting. All right, so I'm gonna have to leave this episode right here, guys. Sorry I was so distracted today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye!